Okay, Ian Stokey with Mastermind Games here again, going back into the world of Warhammer 40,000, painting some Ork Gretchin and a Runtherd this time. Where is it? Starting 09035, olive green. So... the Gretchin in Warhammer 40,000 are essentially slave race. It takes care of the menial needs of the orcs, so they are related. And the Runtherds are the orcs that keep them in line, but also act as lore keepers. We'll get this skin tone on here. I'm not sure if this orc is supposed to be bare-chested or not. It's a little ambiguous. But as the seams on the model's shoulders were flat and not ball socket or anything like that, it is a little harder to tell what the intent of the sculptor was. And this unit has the third organoid species in it, the squig, in the form of this Gretchin-eating squig hound. Another tool to keep them in line. And in-game, the Gretchin are low-cost cannon fodder troops. They are better shots than orcs. They are stuck with pretty lousy guns. But again, cheap troops choice, so... And this kit had two different heads for the Runtherd and two different weapon options. So one of those where you can do it multiple ways. A lot of Games Workshop kits can do that, actually. Okay. Now starting on the Gretchin themselves. 0901 one leaf green. This is also one of the least expensive unit kits in Warhammer 40,000. So it's got that going for it too. Okay. One thing that's fun about the Orks faction in general, most of the, if not all of the other factions in Warhammer look pretty uniform in look. The Orks are more anarchic and wild. Less uniform lends to more personality for each model, which is probably why I spend more time on them than I do Space Marines or Tau or even Death Guard. And I'm starting to kind of wonder when Orks are going to get their new codex. Looks like Custodes are just about to get theirs, and GW's announced that Thousand Suns is next. As of a day or so ago. Oh boy, where'd that go? A little more paint out. Okay. On another note, the next set I'm working on for my Battlegrounds line of terrain sets, just waiting on some materials to come in, and should be about a week and a half, so these delays are annoying, but they happen. And since I've proven so lousy about estimating how long something's going to take, I'm just going to stop estimating and just give more regular updates on my Facebook page and the link below for when stuff's about to come out. And some of these Gretchin have wrapped feet, so we're just going to go ahead and do part of it, the green, then pick out the bandages later. And another prediction I have for the Orks is that they're going to probably get a new starter box. Most of the existing ones, in fact all of the existing ones as far as I've seen, have a troops choice, an HQ choice, and something else. The Ork starter box available right now, the Painboy, which was formerly an HQ choice, is now an Elite's choice. So I am expecting that they'll get their starter reworked a little bit. Eldar and Tyrannid's got new ones too. Those Space Marines and Chaos remain unchanged from the last iteration. Again, since this is very relevant, or rather will be relevant very soon, I was not intending to literally paint everything I have on camera. especially with Warhammer 40,000, since there are going to be multiples, unless there is actual demand to see that as I go into variant color schemes and whatnot. Just comment if you actually do want to see every variant I do. And I have done some sculpting to modify some models, and intend to do more in the future, especially on orcs. But, again, just let me know in the comments. Constructive criticism is also much appreciated. Could probably make these videos a lot better if I had a little more of that constructive type criticism. Let's see here. This Gretchin definitely has a loincloth on. I can't tell if he's got pants on underneath or not. Just see what happens as I go along. Gonna need a little more paint. I've got a wide assortment of models in my queue from various games, but I am kind of nearing the end of the Warhammer 40,000 queue. Got a few orc things, the rest of the Dark Imperium box set, one Tau model, a few miscellaneous Space Marine models, and that's about it. What I'm going to focus on in terms of faction building is maxing out the units I've already got before I move on to adding new stuff. Which means building this and my 2 units of Orc Boys, one of which I haven't painted yet, to max size, maximizing my knobs and some burner boys I've got in. Going along those lines. Gonna try to push through as much stuff as I possibly can in as short a time I can, because I did back the 2nd edition Kickstarter for Relic Knights, and those rewards are now scheduled to be coming in, I think May is what I was told. So I want to try to knock out as much as I can before then, because I have a whole bookshelf cluttered up with unpainted models I want to get through. Okay, just one more Gretchin, and this guy's wearing some poor schmo's skull as a hat. I think this guy's wearing a shirt, actually. It's a small matter to repaint over that torso if he is. And though I'm kind of going for a somewhat goofy 80s, 90s theme in my orcs here, this unit's going to be a little more subdued. So I want to kind of emphasize the squalor the Gretchin themselves, at least, are stuck living in. Well, squalor even as far as orc standards go. Okay, need that ear. Yep. And now I'm going to take pure white 09039. The squig is going to be a bright color, or squig hound to be more accurate. And since I've used black primer, I need to lighten it up. And I'm also concerned about the actual body, not the hair or claws or bristles, hair, whatever it is it's supposed to be. Just gonna go over the flesh here with pure white. This will make it easier to paint the brighter color I intend. And as I've said a couple times before, the color primer you use does matter. Since I generally want a grittier look on my Warhammer 40,000 models, a darker look, I go for black, but if you want to do bright, crisp colors like depicted on most Eldar, you'll want to go white primer. If you want it more neutral, a muted gray. Alright, once that dries, we'll continue on. Alright, 09008 Sun Yellow. That should be plenty. On base coats, again, you want your brush moist, not overly wet. It's a little wet down at the bottom, that's okay. It's mostly going to be, what's the word we're looking for, claws anyway. Then 09002 Deep Red. Start working on some mouths. That is not mixed well enough on that one. Getting this mixed, I'll take a look and see any of these grots. There's another name, the Gretchin word for the Gretchin. Have their mouths wide open. One. Looks like just one. Okay, that's better. Just go inside that space there. Same with the Runtherd. And the Squig Hound. Alright. And then 09143 Yellowed Bone. All that blood red in the mouth mouth dress, start on some teeth and nails. Everybody else. Get his improvised hat. He's got a bandana over his mouth. He's got a big old toothy sneer. And an eye patch. Go ahead and do the horns on his helmet. Looks like this squig has a little stinger coming out of his tail. Can't see it all that well because it's going underneath the Runtherd. Do that anyway and get the remainder of its talons. Squigs are essentially orkanoid animals, and they have the most variety of forms, ranging from the mastiff-sized squig hound to smaller oil squigs and pet squigs, and the massive squigoths that are Forge World exclusives. Okay, and then I'm gonna get his hair. I don't want to do this. We'll try it this way. 09039 Rainy Gray. I will admit getting pure black, getting black, I'm sorry, I'm getting a little tongue-tied, to look good has been something I've been struggling with. But I'm gonna keep trying, as I will eventually collect Chaos Space Marines. Since there's some synergy with Death Guard, there probably get thousands at some point too. Like the looks of that, but for Chaos, I'm looking either at a Renegade Chapter, Alpha Legion, or Black Legion. If I end up going Black Legion, I'll have to learn how to paint at some point. And then, let's go ahead and start on decisions. Yeah, go with 09206 Tarnished Steel and start on some of the weaponry, I guess. So many choices, I don't know which one to go for first, really. And I'll be doing some stuff on the Gretchin's weapons to give them a rusted look, since they're stuck using gear that no self-respecting orc would even want to look at, let alone use. Looks like he's got a extra club or possibly a stick bomb. And the Grot Blaster. Said in the old Orc Codex that Grots are stuck with poorer quality weapons because no self-respecting orc would let a Grot walk around with a decent shooter. And any orc that did catch a Grot with a decent gun would take it and either kill the Gretchin or at very least give him a big strong kick depending on the particular orc's mood at the time. And like all orc tech, the Grot Blasters also have a ramshackle look. Get his little belt buckle. Looks like this one's got a big bolt for a club. And based on the designs of these guns, it looks like they might end up shooting a variety of projectiles as opposed to all slug throwers across the board. Well, this one's packing a pair of what are obvious revolvers. Last one looked like it might have been an energy pistol of some kind. I'm basing that off the little switch that was on the back. Don't know why, but based on the look of this particular drop blaster, I picture this shooting one big bullet, having to be reloaded after every shot. Though that would totally fit with Ork sensibilities. He's got a little earring. I'm going to give his helmet a rusted look to go along, to fit in with the Gretchin get lousy equipment theme they've got. Getting the ones with the goggles he's wearing. His belt buckle there. This peg looks like a little meat cleaver for a weapon. Possibly a saw. And I just realized I missed one. A little more of that paint where I put it. No, missed two. Okay, I just need to get his. What looks like it may have been a shotgun at one point before the orcs got their hands on it. Again, this gun has a little switch on the back. Usually see that detail on Ork energy weapons, so this might be a las pistol type weapon as opposed to a solid projectile weapon like a bolter or a slugger. That again, low quality ramshackle gear that not even an Ork would want. Though Gretchin do occasionally get to act as a tail gunner on Ork aircraft and do get to operate their artillery weapons, since no self-respecting Ork wants to hang back shooting at a wall when he could be in the thick of hand-to-hand combat. Got a little bit of armor. In addition to a comically oversized helmet that was probably stolen from an Ork, or more likely looted from an Ork's body with no other Ork wanting it. So when I get to it, I'll make this look nice and rusty. Maybe make the fur trim look kind of moldy. Okay. So let's see here. Tip of that whip. And the prongs on his grok prod. Go down the handle a bit. I gotta stop that whispering thing. Just still not used to talking to an audience that can't actually interact with me. Don't know if that's ever going to change, but I'm pretty sure the whispering is coming off as creepy, and it's not my intent. And then he's got a slugger holstered at his hip. You know, kind of at his hip. Okay. I think the rest of that armor I'll do in bronze, but I do see a tooth hanging off. And it needs to be painted. I missed, so we'll do that. Okay, gonna let that dry a bit before moving on. Okay, some little glitch coming up. I don't know what's going on. We'll hope it works out. But, well, next, where is it? 09164 Dark Elf Skin. Oh boy, nothing like a computer glitch in the middle of working on something to make a brain drop the clutch. Well, that's more than I need. Again, brush damp, not overly wet. This is going to go on the hair or spines. I'm not sure which it's really supposed to be on the squig hound here. Being careful around the yellow because I don't want to nick that. Though it is a little tricky right here because of the angle. Specifically of the Ork relevant to the squig. Okay, and any other areas I want to do with this. I'll go ahead and do the Runtherd's mantle here. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Looks a bit like he's wearing a mantle of feathers or ragged hide or scales, something like that. Clean that out a bit. And then, what do I want to do next? How about Leather White 09062? We'll do some of the wrappings around the feet of the Gretchin themselves. And again, these models have so many details that it's easy to miss stuff. I'm going to revisit this guy in a minute because it looks like he's got the same kind of texture on his loincloth that the Runtherd has on his mantle. But I do want the white to have a chance to dry a little first. I'm just going to set him over here. Just checking individually for Gretchin that have bandages instead of shoes. And he doesn't have shoes at all, but he does have the bindings. And I did pick out a few toes I missed off camera. So I just don't see the point of literally recording every touch up, especially as long as some of my videos have been running. And he's got some wrapping around his gun, but that's going to be done in another color. And he also has that furry texture. He has, looks like, one wrapped foot and one boot. No, looks like just a ragged boot. But I will do the trim around his hair, or helmet. But I'm going to do some stuff with the shading to make it look decayed and moldy. Since after all, he probably stole it off a dead orc. And we'll do the wrappings around his arms in white. I'll set him aside since I need to redo his loincloth. I'll just check a few of the others real quick and make sure I'm not missing any more of those furry textured ones. And Skull Hat here has a wristband. And this guy's got wrapped feet, that furry loincloth, and a wristband. Looks like I missed part of a leg though. Handle that later as a touch-up. Again, keeping the brush moist but not overly wet. If it's too wet, your paints will start running and getting all over the place and leave an uneven coat. I'm reworking the order I'm going to do these in again, so that I'm just going to knock out the last of the Dark Imperium set after this. Okay. So taking that Dark Elf flesh again. Just getting his feather or hide loincloth, whatever it's supposed to be. And same thing here. Okay. And then actually go ahead and use this on this guy's eye patch. That's a decent color for it. Just get that really quick. Okay. Let's see, then 09161 Shield Brown. Start doing some of the leather strap, or actually the leather pants. I'll do the straps in another color. Starting with the Runtherd, we'll just go ahead and broader strokes. I'm going to stop it above the knee, so I'm getting just his pants and probably loincloth in this. Again, on base coats, you generally want to go to the lowest area of the model first and then work your way higher. Doesn't always work out sometimes, but most of the time. And then, let's see here. Go ahead and do this glove, or at least the leather underneath. Got a fair bit of armor on it. You would definitely want when working with what's essentially a version of Pac-Man with rabies. Let's see here. Yeah. I think I'll do his head covering here too, this coif or cowl. Again, some of my decisions on where to put what color are completely arbitrary last minute. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see here. None on him. Get his pants. And carefully going around the skull, getting his loincloth. So I think the consensus among 40k fans is that these space orcs don't technically have genitals, so I don't know why they bother with pants, but meh. And again, I might very well be overthinking it, but okay, that's good for him. Let's see. Just don't want to lose my place. Okay. Alright. So, thinking about codexes. GW is going at a pretty good clip on getting them out. So I'm just getting a little impatient, wondering when we're going to get new Orc or Tau codexes. But they still have to do for Xenos, Drakari, and Harlequins and Necrons for full codexes. Seems like they're trying to do like 3 or 4 Imperium or Chaos related ones for every Xenos one they're doing. Let's see. Then get the Gunslinger's pants here. No, probably won't have to wait more than a few months to get those remaining Xenos codexes. They are kind of running out of non-Imperiums, or actually are running out of Imperium stuff to do, so just misspoke there real quick. Okay, I'll do the Bandolier in a different color. Let's see. He's not going to have any of her. He's not going to have any of that color on him. Carefully going around that club that may be a grenade, possibly not even a dud. of fun little fact. One of the most well-remembered games of the 90s, board games, Hero Quest. Apparently GW did the miniatures for that. Just a fun little thing. That was one of my favorites as a kid. Okay. And he's got the fur. And then 09005 Phoenix Red. Gonna do some brighter colored areas of machinery while some of that dries. This one's about out. I think I have a spare on hand if I need it though. So just like on the Death Dread a while back, I'm going to get the box here red and yellow, which if I was thinking about it, I would have done the lightning bolt when I did the squig, but it's my mistake. It's a little too thick. Got the power box for the Grok Prod here. It's going to need more than one coat because of the dark primer. And then I'm going to do this explosion iconography at the base of the holster. Then, let's see here, get some bandanas and hats. And like I said, this will take more than one coat because of the overall dark primer and colors underneath. I think there was one or two more things. Oh, maybe I was mistaken. No, actually I want to get his hairband here in the bright red. Okay. Right. Start on the second coat. Get that nice and bright. Okay, I'm going to let that dry for a bit before moving on. Okay, moving on to the other leather. 09110 oiled leather. Mix that up thoroughly. This is a fairly new pot, so we'll need a little more work. Getting the wrappings on the prod. Or rather, the technical term would be the grip. Looks like this orc's missing a finger. Didn't catch that detail at first. Probably why he's wearing the glove now. Yeah, referring to an attack squig or a squig hound as a rabid Pac-Man is probably not too far off the mark. Get this wristband. It looks like he's got a tooth on his armband I missed. Have to take care of that on between takes. And get that. That's armor. We'll start working on his belt. Again, keeping the brush moist but not overly wet. This strap here. Okay, getting this holstered grot lash. And get the grip on this slugger. Again, looking at pure stats from the game, I'd say orc weapons are about on par with Space Marine weapons, just that orcs are lousy shots. And getting the boots. He's got some armored cleats on his. Then get the harness on the squig hound. Looks like it's literally attached to the squig's face via piercings in its jaw. And get the wristband on this gauntlet. I think that's it for him in this color. Getting belts and bandoliers. Too much water in the brush. His gun's wrapped up. Being very careful around the straps in his goggles because I don't want to nick the lenses or the flesh around them. And I'm worried at him. Get the belt and get the strap there holding his improvised club into it. He's got a few harnesses on the back holding up his improvised breastplate. And try not to nick his loincloth. Get this pouch at his belt. And then the strap holding the skull to his head. I set him aside because he's going to need another color. Get that little flap coming off his loincloth. And running out of paint, but I think I've got just enough to get this done without having to get more out. Get that little wristband. Carefully get that belt and then get the wrappings around the barrel of his gun. And I think this detail here is part of it. And I'm going to take a 09002 deep red again. Not a lot. And that's too much water. Just enough to get his shirt painted. And then kind of touch up the inside of the mouth here. It's better. And then while I'm touching up other colors, take that sun yellow 09008 again. That's more than enough. Just pick out the lightning bolt symbol on the grot prod real quick. Short controlled strokes all the way. And then, where is it? 09197 old bronze. Gonna get the base coats here. That metal hoop there and there, that what looks like a nipple piercing. The armor on his boots. armor plate on his back, on the glove. Carefully picking out the rest of the grot prod, avoiding the colors I did earlier. Deliberately avoiding this piece here because it's going to be in another color. Or rather, it's going to be done as a lighting effect. That cable there, going all the way up to the ball. Making sure I've got everything I want to get on him before moving on. I think I have. I do need to remember to go back and hit that tooth hanging off his armband. And then get his knife handle. I'm going to carefully pick out these extra cartridges hanging off his bandolier. And I'm just going over these one at a time for anything else I want to pick out. Go ahead and get the skull on his helmet. And here, looks alright. Here I'll go ahead and get his knife handle. The hilt. You'd think I'd know this a little better. Much time as I've spent doing this hobby, knowing the lingo a little better. He's okay. Let's see. He's okay with just a little green to touch up. Let's see. Go ahead and pick out that little wheel on the gun here. Knowing Ork technology, that wheel could be a vitally critical component, or it could do absolutely nothing. Okay. So that's most of the base coats. Just going to take Yellowed Bone 09143 again. I'll just go ahead and do these touch-ups real quick right here. And just nick that tooth I missed earlier. Not done with him yet, though. Then take Leaf Green 09011 again. Just a little dot. Just take care of that knee real quick. And then taking 09039 Pure White. That's plenty. Go ahead and hit that ball in the center of his prod and get that ready for the lighting effect I'll do in a little bit. Okay. And a little more tarnished steel, 09206. Let's touch up this here. And I'll go ahead and use this on the piercings for the Grothound's leash. I was going to do that in bronze originally, but this will stand out better with that yellow flesh. Take a little more of that. That's never mind. Okay. Let that dry and move on to the shading. Okay, time to shade. And I'm going to start with, I think, the leather. So 09109 Ruddy leather. And about half paint, half water, give or take. Mr. Wristband on him. We'll just get that really quick with the shading. It'll be fine. This happens sometimes. Let's double check real quick here. He's got one. Actually, that looks more like jewelry, so I'll do that in a metallic color. But you're gonna miss stuff sometimes. Don't worry about it. A lot of it's pretty easy to fix. And doing that during shading is a way to quick fix something, and it'll look a little different, but that's okay. Nope, haven't missed any boots yet. Okay, got that done. I think 09061 linen white. Maybe not. No, not yet. Instead, okay, we'll start on the rusty bits with the Gretchin's equipment. So Scorched metal 09125. This one's plugged up a bit. So this is how I'm going to give the Gretchin's gear a rusty look. This color's great for that. Well, this one's shot. It happens. I have a spare though. Just need to dig it out. And here it is. Okay, well, it's already open up, so I just need to mix it. I generally try to keep spares on hand when I catch something's running out, but I don't always catch them in time. It happens. Need a little more since we've got quite a few Gretchin here with gear. And this has been plugged up now. There we go. So I'm only using this color on the Gretchin themselves, not the Runtherd, because he's going to have shiny new equipment. All the Gretchin here are making do with, as I said before, stuff that no self-respecting orc would want. So, rusty look. Want this fairly thin so as not to completely cover up the coat underneath. So, rusty belt buckle. Going over all the metal, rusty bullets. So the Gretchin don't get top of the line gear, they again just have to make do. Rusty belt, rusty earring, rusty knife. If he's also got a wristband I somehow managed to miss, we'll just do that as jewelry. These things happen. Especially when you're working on so many at once, but I find it's faster in doing units to kind of work on the whole thing at one time as opposed to one model at a time. Even though this video is probably going to be close to 4 hours, it's only 4 hours to do 11 models, well, minus drying time, which you literally don't have to stand around watching paint dry. Okay. Now I'm getting his helmet. And you'll see me picking off some of the excess, using it to hit other areas. Tight shade, I'm starting to see details and orc iconography on some of these. They're really tiny. A lot of these grot blasters look almost like old blunderbusses. It's got his rust. He has that bracelet I missed, so take that out in just a straight scorched metal and highlight later. Get his belt buckle. I'll do his goggles shiny. Otherwise, rust all around. It's got this little cleaver. It's good. And then I'm going to start on the Runtherd with Sparkling Blue 09104. Tiny dot. Or I would if it wasn't plugged up again. That's way more than I need. Gonna go more water than paint on this one. And just go over the ball here. It's pretty good. Nice glowing effect there. Then I'm going to need to let that dry a bit before moving on. Moving on. 09160 Woodstain Brown. Be a little careful right here because I want to get just the pants, not anything else. I did forget to shade the leather on the glove and the harness, so I took care of that off camera real quick. Okay, he doesn't have any of this. Again, on shading, you want to go high area to low area. Base coats and highlight, lowest area to highest. So I'm generally starting with the skin tone, since that's going to be, in most cases, the lowest area on a given model. He doesn't have any of this either. Okay. Then I think, where is it? 09196 aged pewter. This is clogged. And that's why we have the paper clip. Okay, this one is really clogged. There we go, kind of. That'll be enough. Something funky with that, I guess. Get started on his bronze. So that ring there and there. And this belt. Cleats. Okay, then armor over his glove. That glyph on the back here. And carefully going around the grot prod, and especially around that electric blue. Okay. Then I think I'm going to take pure black 09037. Just a little dot of it, and use that to shade the hair on this Gretchin. See how this goes. As I said, I'm still struggling to get a decent looking black. So then I think I'll go ahead and take, actually, no, not just yet. No, I'm gonna, I cannot make up my bleeding mind right now. Okay, we'll just Blackened steel, 09205, and just finish up the metal on the Runtherd. That's going to happen sometimes. You just cannot make up your mind where you want to go next. And before I forget, I'll just nick this Grot's goggles real quick. Alright. Get the head of the Grot lash. Get the piercings into the Squig Hound's jaws. And this part of the prongs is prod. Just realized part of that may not have been on camera. Okay, now 09163 Dark Elf Shadow. Mix that up and get some of the feathery loincloths and the Runtherd's mantle and the Squig Hound's quills. And I'll go ahead and use this to shade the fur on his hat to make it look dirty. That looks okay. Looks like it's been sitting around a while. Then pick out his mantle. I just realized I forgot to do his collar. That's frustrating. Alright, well, it's not unsurmountable. I can fix it as soon as this dries. Though it annoys me when I do that. It does happen from time to time. Okay. The quills here, it's got a little bit poking under there, a little bit under there. Because I think these are supposed to be quills. Top here, right next to the hand. Okay, so I'm going to take that old bronze again real quick and see if I can't pick out that collar he's wearing and fix that up. It's got it okay. We'll shade that once this all dries. And at this point, let's see. Yeah, go ahead and let stuff dry before moving on. Alright, so I'm going to take aged Pewter again and fix up that collar I missed real quick. That little dot should be enough to do the job. Okay, now 09007 Marigold Yellow. Okay, that should do. That should do nicely. So carefully pick out the lightning bolt. If I get a little bit on the red, that'll be okay. Now, picking out the squig hound here. Trying to avoid getting it on the claws especially. Won't matter as much if I nick the mane of Quill, since that's darker. Making sure I get into that gap there where the harness punches into the cheek. Making sure to get a nice even coat here. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright. And now taking, 09061 linen white. Get some of these bandages. Not worried about nicking the exposed heel, since the shading I put on that will cover it up pretty quickly. Let's see, I think I did him already. Yeah. Got these in a bit of a cluster here. Okay. I think that's good for now. So gonna let that dry and move on in a little bit. Alright. Fire red 09004. Just a little bit of this. Or it would be if the nozzle weren't plugged up. Let's try that again. Okay, there we go. Okay. Okay. You don't want it to beat up on you, so just watch for that. Starts to beat up, just rub it on your palette again, whatever you happen to use, and get that knocked down to a more reasonable amount of paint. Otherwise it'll get all over the place on places you don't want the particular color. Going carefully here, go around the Thunderbolt icon, not over it. And then on the holster here. Okay. And I'm going to have to wait a bit and let that dry before moving on to the green. Okay, 09034 Muddy Olive. That might be enough. I think I just got this down to skin tones, teeth, and tongues at this point. Carefully around the chest. After all, I want to get the flesh, not the clothes. Such as they are anyway. And then 09010 Pine Green. That might do it. Get some room clear so I don't lose my place on these guys. Be careful around the teeth so I don't nick those. At least not too much anyway. Trying to hit one section of the body at a time here. Being really careful not to hit the bandana. That needs to stay a bright red. Or rather, I want it to stay a bright red. Being real careful around the teeth. Since that's a brighter color, this dark green will mess that up quite a bit if I nick it. Okay. Just about done. Again, being really careful around that grimace. Don't want to nick the teeth. Okay, just two more. Okay, last one. Being real careful around his bandana. Okay, that's just going to leave the teeth and the tongues and mouths. Okay, next up, stained ivory 09142. Get some teeth and a skull here. Just so I don't lose my place as I work. Again, about half paint, half water, depending on exactly what you're going for. That's why you need to take some care with how diluted you go. In fact, let's just go ahead and move these guys a little bit off so I can access the towel a little better. Let's get a couple of teeth and a nick to the lip there. Okay. He's got a big old grin, though not the jolly kind. I don't know why, but this one brings to mind the character of Dale Gribble from King of the Hill. Carefully on his teeth. He's just got 3 of them poking out. Look at that skull hat of his. Blot out that little bit that got into his eye there. He doesn't have any teeth showing. He's got a bit of a grin. I carefully get the tooth hanging off his nipple ring. And off his armband. Now the squig hound. Touch that one up near the tongue a little bit more. I gotta do his talons. And go from behind to nick that stinger. Okay. Just gotta do the tongues now. After those teeth dry, and I can start highlighting and detailing. Okay, last shading 09001 red brick. Just need enough of this to go in the mouths. I don't think I have any Gretchin that have their, or no, I've got one somewhere. Him. So just really 2 models that need this. And someone's calling me. Okay, that was weird. Wrong number, but still weird. It's kind of weird how often this stuff happens when as soon as I hit the camera. Okay, so he's done. Gotta be a little more careful on the squig, really, just getting that on his tongue mostly. And if it looks like he's got a little blood in his mouth, that's okay, because this thing is a flesh eater. Getting the Runtherd's mouth. Go ahead and let that get all over the squig's teeth. Make it look like more of a flesh eater. And then 09003 blood red. Just go ahead and start dotting some eyes here. So damp, not overly wet. Gretchin have wee little red eyes. I'm going to do this before highlighting so that covers up any overage here. Trying to get the light right on his face. Sometimes it's not always easy. And he's got the goggles on. He's just got one eye to worry about. So I mentioned in my last video, the Tau video, I'm toying with the idea of doing a giveaway at some point in the future. If I do, it would be one or more sets of my Mastermind Games Battlegrounds products, my terrain sets I make. And I would not do that, and his eyes aren't showing really. I would not do that until I had a more significant amount of subscribers, like 50, 100, something like that, then that might make it worthwhile. So, no promises at this point, we'll just see how it goes. I am just about done with the molds on my next product for Battlegrounds. And I'm putting updates on my Facebook page. Is going to be down there in the links. And if you go to the Instagram link I've got there, you can see previews of what I'm working on. Help you decide if you want to skip a video or not. And this guy's just got one eye showing out of this oversized helmet. Okay, we'll go ahead and let that dry completely and then start highlighting. Alright, time to start highlighting now. 09003 Blood Red. The only thing this is really going on effectively is the squig's tongue. As the other models with their mouths open just don't have enough effective space to make it work, so again, just brushing on the paper towel till it looks like there's almost no paint left. And then lightly dusting. Making sure the brush is dry between coats and thoroughly cleaned. And then Fire Orange 09006. Yeah. Getting a little mixed up for a second there. I've been using more colors on these orc models because, quite frankly, they've got more personality compared to, say, Space Rangers that have fewer colors in a whole. When you look at it, I'm using on my Space Marines blue, gold, and gray. These guys have many more little bits and pieces to work with. Number of colors, number of models, it's all going to affect how much I end up using. I'm using a little more pure paint to nick out that green. It's on his bandana. Okay. There you can see the contrast a little better between the light and dark areas. And then his top knot, or possibly hair squig, according to an article I caught on GW a while back on their list of favorite squigs. Not seen any other source mentioning it, but since it's on their actual blog, it's got to be at least semi-official. Dry it out, clean it off. 09144 Creamy Ivory. Get the teeth on his jewelry before I forget. And then get the talons on the squig. Get them nice and shiny. Go ahead and just kiss the stinger a little bit, even though you can't see it too well. Getting that nice pearly grin. Taking out some of the blood red. Doing the same thing for his handler here. And the white around any lips here will come out easily enough when I hit the green in a little bit. This one's particularly important because the skull hat he's got is a more prominent feature than the teeth on many of them. Yeah, his mouth is covered up. And his isn't showing either. He's got that set of horns on his hat. Somewhat odd grin there. And he's got a wicked old mouth of fangs there. Clean him out thoroughly again. And 09009 lemon yellow. Just needs to go on the lightning bolt very carefully. And then mostly on the squig. You can see the cheeks popping and haunches. And 09036 Pale Olive. And this one's just for the Runtherd. Bit too much water on it. And 09012 Pale Green. I may need more than that, but it's a start. Generally, we're going to want to go against sharp edges. It helps catch the paint better that way. I just realized I forgot to shade his shirt, so I'm going to have to fix that. Or did I? No. Don't think I... No, I think I did forget to shade it, so I'll just highlight his skin and just take a second and fix that real quick. So I gotta be careful about missing things. Especially when you're getting this late in the game on this, so just real careful like. Hopefully they'll be dry enough to take care of in a minute here. Maybe by the time I finish the rest of these Gretchin. Yeah, I tend to not talk a whole lot when I'm getting hyper-focused like I am right now. So just bear with me, please. Something I've tried to get over for the sake of these videos, but it's slow going, we'll say. As I highlight these little guys, I can say that Gretchin are scrawny but muscular. I might have enough paint, I might need a little more, we'll see in a minute. Especially see on this guy the definition and the back muscles. Now it looks like I have exactly enough paint here to get the job done. It's good. Let's see. Okay, that's dried enough I can highlight it. So that was my mistake. Let's just fix it real quick with that same blood red I used on the squig's tongue. Just quickly do like this. Okay, that's got that fixed. Dry out the brush. And what's that? Driftwood Brown 09162. Get his pants and loincloth, that glove. He doesn't have any of this color. He does. Okay, he's got that kind of fur pattern as well. Dry out again. And 09165 Dark Elf highlight. Well, this one's being a little cantankerous. Ah, there we go. That's got it. And I'll start on the squigs highlights. Those quills. Okay. Lost track of my paint for a second there. Get his mantle. And he's got that eye patch. He's got the feathers. Next, let's see. I've got. Okay, looks like we need to start on some metallic colors next. So clean out, dry off. And 09207 True Silver. Might be a little too much water. Let's try that again and blot out. Dry brush off. That's looking better. Do a little extra silver here where that shading went awry. But it's about what I was going for. It's looking rusty, but not too horribly rusty. So we'll get his wristband here. And his knife. At least the blade of it. Little earring there. It's got that stick bomb, or possibly dud stick bomb, the belt buckle, grot blaster. So this shows what kind of effects you can get by switching out your shading or highlights. Gives me Gretchin that have rusty looking gear, reflective of the squalor they live in and the equipment they have to make do with. The buckle and the jewelry. Go with those lenses in his goggles. Just about done with this one. You can really see where I went thicker on the shading. The difference between the highlight and the base coat and shadow with all that stuff on it. Tip of his prod. Carefully get the hooks into the squig's mouth. And with his slugger. Get his prod there. Be real careful around the apparatus in the center. I don't want to get any of that messed up. I like it the way it is. pretty good. And drying out again. I'm looking for, there it is. 09198 Tarnished Brass. This one's about cash, but I have a spare on hand if I need it. Looks like I don't, because that should be enough. There's only 2 Gretchen that have any of this at all. Actually, no, a few more than that, my mistake. Because he's got the handle of his knife. And then he's got that skull on his helmet there. Let's see, so I guess I need to just do a quick double check. Let's get that wheel. Missed his chop. I'll just take all the silver real quick and go with that and switch back. We'll change things up a little bit. That's fine. I'm okay with it. Okay, and he's got his extra rounds. Nothing that really counts. It's jewelry. Belt buckle, remembering the collar this time. Gonna get his squig handling glove, all nice and shiny. His boots. Finish up mechanical parts of his grot prod there. And he's got that glyph on the back. So it might be a snake bite insignia. Okay, let's see next. The snake bites being one of the official tribes of orcs. Get that green out of the way there. Let's see, looking at what I've got out. Zero 9063 Ghost White. Because some Gretchen can't afford shoes. think I have just one color left, and that's the leather. So, 09111 burnt orange. That is a horribly clogged nozzle. Okay. So far I was going to have to find that rod I use for pinning to... getting all tongue-tied. I was afraid I was going to have to find that rod I use for pinning models. Okay. And most models have at least a little of this. Belts and wrappings over badly maintained guns. And belt boots. Oh, almost forgot a little of the white on his hat. Oh boy, okay. Just fix that real quick, get that ghost white again before I move on any further and just dust that. Now it looks like a dirty hat. Okay, got that fixed. Mine's a million other places right now too. Just trying to multitask. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's highlights. So I've got a few details now. We'll start basing. And 09037 pure black again. Well, I guess I got one more color to highlight I forgot about. And that's the guy that actually has hair here. So just a little bit of black and brush it out. And so suppose that's not too bad for black hair. And I want to keep working until I figure something out that actually looks better. Okay, now that's highlighting. See, he doesn't have any. We'll detail out some gun barrels real quick. Starting here. And just a small circular motion. You don't want to fill up the entirety of the end. Not generally, anyway. Go ahead and get a little black in the chamber there. Is there any others? I don't think so. No, there's one right here. Do that real quick. So you got him moving on. Just too much of a bead at the tip there. And then he's got a chamber. And a little tip there. Switching to a slightly larger brush. Just go around the edge of the base, being careful to avoid toes, just real careful like. Get a little more loose on the Gretchin since most of them don't even come close to the edge of their base. This will cover up any stray paint and give a more uniform look to it. The choice of black is completely arbitrary. Any color will do. Get the brush damp again. As I said before, I usually pick a color that seems faction appropriate, but I just couldn't figure one out on these, so black's a nice neutral. Goes with almost any paint scheme. I just realized I might have bumped my camera and not known it, so hopefully all this wound up in screen. There's 2 more after this guy. Last one. Got exactly enough paint to do the job. And let that dry completely and start basing. Okay, second to last step. Let's just move this a little bit. Just that. I think that's got it. And get these based. So I've been using rock to bring in my 40K models. Go ahead and pull that out again. It's also called talus. These around. Make sure they did get glued to the table just a little bit by the paint on them. And white glue. Generous helping of it. And equally generous helping of water. Mix it all up there. This is just a Gatorade lid. Any convenient container will do. Again, I prefer to cut costs on things like that when I can to save more money for paints and models. Doesn't always work out, but when it does, it's great. So. Okay. And dip. Okay. Looks pretty good. I see a little bare spot between the squig's heel and his toe. Let's try that again. That's got it. Went a little too far though, which happens, so taking a dry brush, just push that off these spikes there. That bigger rock out of there. And okay, that's okay. Get the excess off the edge. And repeat. Pushed away from the toes. This one I'm using is about shot. Might be the last hurrah for this one. Brushes don't last forever. Just something you have to deal with. Brushing away from the toes. Well, that turned out better than usual, so he's doesn't even need a little touch up. Misspeaking quite a bit right now. I think I just need a nap. You turned out pretty good too. This one's fighting me just a bit. That happens from time to time, though. Okay, just 4 more left. Three left. So it looks like I finally found a decent way to do black hair. It didn't turn out too bad after all once the highlights dried. So I think I finally succeeded. That's pretty good. And that got all over the place. I don't know how. Dust that off. Last one. I just noticed now that he's not nearly as centered on his base as the others are. That's okay. Dusting off the excess. Now that just needs to set for a bit, and then I can seal it. Okay, time to finish up. Scenic cement. A spray or brush on adhesive. I'm going to use an eyedropper. Very carefully just drop this in around the feet. You want it to get moist, but not too much, otherwise you'll start pushing your basing materials around. And it helps to let the glue solution set in the first place. That's why I waited a bit. This will turn this into one big rock hard mass and keep the flock on the base of the model and not floating around your boxes or your tables or whatever you're using for storage and play. Also, this stuff will stick to plastic really easily, so I use a glass eyedropper. To be perfectly honest, I've been a little tricky to find as of late, but forgot to brush the excess off the edge there. Get that really quick. Okay, that's got it. Just get the excess back and rinse out. And that is it. A Runtherd with this 10 strong mob of Gretchin to push around. So, knocked a chunk out of this one. I'll have to patch it up, but that's okay. But next I'm going to be finishing off the Dark Imperium, or rather starting on... getting all tongue-tied. I'm going to be finishing up the Dark Imperium box set, starting with the next video and just muscling my way through it till it's done with one of the remaining Death Guard models. So until then, I am Ian Stuckey of Mastermind Games, signing out.